before we get started, I wanted to go over a couple little just updates. First of all, going to be posting more videos like this on the channel, as just well as other just videos. Gonna be posting a lot more on YouTube than I have in the past. And that's mainly because I'm trying to move off of Twitch. For those of you who don't know, I have been streaming on Twitch consistently for the last almost 2 years now, and recently Twitch has been making some changes that have been making it a little more difficult to reliably use streaming, at least on Twitch, in a way that is beneficial to me. It's taking a lot of my mental energy just to really be able to keep streaming on there. And I love streaming, don't get me wrong, but Twitch is not currently the best outlet for streaming. So I am going to start streaming on here more. I'm going to be uploading longer content on here, more voiceover, speed paints, and hopefully this gives me more time to work on animations that I really want to work on, including some really cool long-form voice-acted content that we'll be discussing later in the video. Today I wanted to work on another redraw. I've been doing a lot of redraws recently, and this original drawing, you guys have seen it before. I've done speed paints on it before, and it's my drawing of the Toxic drawing. I know, creative name. I had originally drawn this back in 2016, if I remember right, and had been redrawing it, redrew it in 2018 and then 2020. I did technically redraw it in 2021, but I really did not like how that looked. So we're just gonna strike that from the record of ever existing. But I wanted to use that as kind of an opportunity to talk about my relationship with horror art and gore in general, because it's very prevalent in my work, and I've always kind of just been a horror fan. Gore has always kind of been a part of my life. I grew up in a household that had a lot of taxidermy and skulls because my stepdad was an artist and he used those for references, and just, you know, because it's cool. Terrified me as a child, but, you know, walking down to the kitchen only to see a giant taxidermy bobcat with eyes that follow you in the dark was definitely a fun experience when you're 7, but gore and just horror in general has always been a big part of my life. It's something that has always just kind of been morbidly fascinating to us, and that's really reflected in our art. We've always drawn very dark stories and drawings in general. One of our first drawings we'd ever done that was like a big color paint drawing with Sharpies, of course, because I was a child and didn't know any better options for markers, was fan art for a very old My Little Pony YouTube video that some of you may have heard of called Shed.mov. Yeah, I was exposed to the internet at a young age, and to the horrors of the internet that were just very, very interesting to me as a small child. Really shouldn't have been, but, you know, when you grow up watching horror movies and seeing skulls and stuff for a majority of your life, you kind of get used to that kind of stuff. And it was also a really good outlet for me. I used horror art, and especially gore art, a lot to express emotions that I might not, at least when I was younger, understood. Um, and it helped me very healthily express a lot of darker, more probably concerning thoughts, especially to my family, that I had as a kid, to just kind of deal with the shitty hand that I'd been dealt in life. I haven't exactly had the most happy life, but it's alright. I barely remember it. But a lot of it really just kind of helped me come to terms with a lot of the more darker aspects of life, and it was also just fun. It was a fun thing to learn to draw all of this gross, gory stuff. I don't think my love for creepypasta, FNAF, and Warrior Cats really helped with that, but here we are. Which kind of leads me into my next point of just how horror in general has really shaped media, especially in recent years. People really love, exploring darker topics and escaping into a lot of more fantastical situations, especially in like horror movies. You get to explore all these different facets of, very dark topics, and you get to do it in a very creative and safe space, because where else are more dark topics like that going to be, accepted? And obviously that's very much influenced my art. It's honestly, drawing gore helped me a lot with anatomy, especially like bone structures and muscle structures. You can see that even here, where I'm going through the bone and muscle structure of Gold's wings to accurately kind of get the muscle and feather structure down, to really give it that look of it has been he's been through something corrosive. But a lot of it really helped me just kind of figure out my emotions, as I said earlier. I used a lot of gore to do a lot of vent art, and I'm sure if you've been around my channel or my Instagram for a while, you've seen some of that art, because it was a way for at least me healthily to get out my darker emotions, like my anger, and just it was easier for me to escape into the horror art instead of more sad art. I definitely wasn't a stranger to it. I've definitely drawn more sad vent art that's less on the gory side of Gold murdering someone. But it for a while really just stuck with that, and that a lot of that just kind of ended up turning Gold into his own separate character, because eventually I stopped needing that kind of art to heal and go through my emotions. I grew up, which is weird to say, but I definitely did grow up enough to not necessarily move on, but to be able to work through my emotions and feelings more on an internal level. And that essentially led to me making, well, it led to me making Psychosis. And how a lot of the things that have impacted me and that I had drawn vent art of through Gold turned into its own story, where it let me safely not just work through my trauma and stuff that I had vented about through my art, but it let me explore facets of myself that I didn't expect to. and let me kind of have a way to just, what's a good word for that? Yeah, it helped me heal. That's the simplest as I can put it. It helped me overcome a lot of my own trauma by turning it into a story about overcoming trauma, because that's what psychosis and Meloria as a whole is about, is overcoming trauma and the different outways that can happen. Through Gold's story, it's a lot of how you can succumb to a lot of your darkest thoughts, and how to come out of that on the brighter side of things and heal from all the hurt that has happened to you in your life. And a lot of the story for psychosis became that sort of outlook on things, of things can get better, you can push through the hardest parts of your life. And that was really important for me to understand and come to terms with in order to make that story even happen. And that's led to kind of where psychosis is now, where it's just a story. It has separated itself so much from a lot of the stuff that it started out as, to become this place where you can watch someone just heal. And that's kind of why I haven't really been drawing gore much anymore, is I haven't felt the need to, the urge to, if that makes any sense. It's less about me using it as an outlet and more about me just having fun drawing more horror art than actual gory vent art. Which kind of has impacted psychosis in a way, because you don't see a lot of that gore that you would see in a lot of my like older drawings and stuff, because that's not what it's about. It's not about the gore, it's about the story, the healing, which really just kind of, I guess, in a way reflects how I've taken life from there. I'm not some 17-year-old needing an outlet safely. I'm someone who has grown up. And I think that's really reflected in my own work and my art, and I think that's really special. I think that's really special that I've been able to find that kind of peace in my own self, and that it's reflected so much in my art in a very positive way. So I have a little bit of an announcement that I wanted to share with you all, because it's very exciting. It's something I'm very excited to finally be able to share. And I've shared a little bit of it before through Twitter and over on the community tab. But if you haven't seen those, Year Zero is now in the works. We are in full swing for production. It's not how I originally intended for production to go, but it is now actually in production, and we are looking for new VAs. Currently we are having open auditions for Deus, Satanas, Beelzebub, Lucifer, Samel, and a few others. And I'm really excited that we've made it this far in Year Zero's just lifetime. This is big. This is huge for me. And it's hard to believe that after, God, 7, 8 years, I'm finally here. I'm finally able to bring my essential life work to be viewed. And that's incredible. That's just absolutely incredible to me. I couldn't be happier with how it's happened. It might not be what I initially planned for production to start, but either way, I'm really excited that it is to this point, and there's some fantastic people who I'm getting the honor to work with and know through voice work and auditions, who I'm really excited for you guys to see them bring the characters of Year Zero to life and the story to life. This is really exciting. And it's absolutely mind-boggling that this happened, that I'm actually able to do this. I don't think I could ever express how cool it is and how amazing this would be to tell myself when I was 17, hey, you're actually going to be able to do this. You're actually going to be able to make this animation happen, to make this story happen. Hell, I think I started it when I was 16. So yeah, telling myself at 16, your art is actually going to become something more it's a cool thought. It's a really cool thought. And I'd love for the people, you guys, my audience, and whoever else sees this, my future audience even, to be able to be a part of that. If you are interested at all in voice acting, if you have experience in voice acting, if you don't, you are welcome to audition. And hell, feel free to reach out if you work in animation or in writing, and I'd love to take a look at your stuff and bring you onto the team, because this is a big project that I've been wanting to do for a very long time, and it's happening. It's actually happening. I can't give any exact dates for when anything will be released publicly, anything relating to a trailer or anything. We are working on a concept trailer, as well as some cool behind the scenes stuff like test footage and all kinds of other stuff that will be available on Patreon. There's some other stuff that's really cool that's being posted on Patreon if you want to check out our Patreon and help support us in other ways, since we can't get paid on YouTube yet. You can also support us on Ko-Fi, and just liking and watching the video and even subscribing and sharing it. It helps a lot, and it makes being able to do art as a full-time job more possible in the long run of things, because this is my dream come true, and it took a lot to get here. It took a lot of hardships. It took a lot of effort to get here, and it's really exciting. But that's all for the video today. I hope you all had a fantastic time joining us on this journey of a new type of video. If you want to see more content like this, make sure to leave a like. If we get to 30 likes, maybe that's a big jump, but hey, if we get there, we'll definitely do more videos like this where I have a topic and we just talk. Yeah. Thank you all so much for joining us today, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys. I almost just ended this like I end my Twitch streams. Oh god, I gotta get out of the streamer mindset. Oh!